Okay, Mormon religion. Part 3. Kingmen mentality continued. And so we talked already about the object lesson learned concerning those who wanted a king, and those who would have a king, and those who would then subject themselves to that king. For the king will put down all of his enemies who oppose him, and therefore the people in the land of Pahoran, or Pahoran, or however the man's name was pronounced, the people in the land were very vehemently opposed to those kingmen who wanted to overthrow the order of things and impose a king. They knew that they would have to either subject themselves to the king or die. The king would not tolerate rebellion against him. So fast forward. The Book of Mormon was supposed to have been written many years ago, close to 2,000 years ago, or at least until 1,600 years ago, when the last of their kind was supposed to have been killed off or died off, a little bit past 400 AD. So we know that this was a long time ago, but fast forward now to modern day reality. The Mormon Church and the Articles of Faith scribbled off written by, in a hurry, by their leader and founder, Joseph Smith Jr. And the number 12 Article of Faith, this means this is a very strong point of doctrine to all members. If you don't believe in Article of Faith number 12, you're not a good Mormon. They might even excommunicate you for it. I don't know. I resigned long before I got the drift of things, long before. Kind of like Einstein. Einstein got the drift that Hitler was going to be no good for his country. So Einstein he left before things turned bad for his people and for himself. I left before anything could happen against me, okay? Because I realize that although the Book of Mormon speaks out against the kingman mentality, Mormons, by way of the Article of Faith that they hold on to and believe, they hold to these 13 articles, that number 12 says, we believe in being subject to kings. How? How do they subject themselves to kings? In, through, and by obeying the king's law. And this is the way it goes. This is the way it's stated. We believe in being subject to kings, rulers, etc., etc. In obeying, honoring, and sustaining the king's law. The law. Whose law? Obeying the law. Whose law? The king's law. The king's law. And the ruler's law. And you know, just from history alone, how many different kings and rulers and other such dictators lived throughout history and were in control of governments of nations. And Mormons say, yep, we'll just go along with the king's law. He can tuck us right under his wing. And that doesn't sound like resistance against king men. That sounds like we'll just go with the flow. Go with the flow. Look, if you take that religion, the Joseph Smith religion, and you roll back the clock just 60 years before it was founded, instead of 1830, drop it right into the timeline 1770 in the 13 colonies. Now you would have Mormon leaders saying, we believe in being subject to kings. What king? King George I of England. And in sustaining him, the English king, and his laws. Oh, okay. Mormons would have been loyalists. Loyalists to King George. They would have been kingmen. That's what kingmen are. Loyalists, loyal to their king. What about taking up arms, weapons, in the defense of liberty? Nope, not so. So they really learned no object lesson whatsoever from Alma 51. But moreover, if the scenario had played out like that, you do know that the end of the Revolutionary War, also known as the War of Independence, the Loyalists, many of them, fled to Canada because they were afraid that they would be executed for not taking up arms in defense of liberty, but standing loyal to the English crown. And that's what they did. They fled to Canada. And I always postulate, well, then so would the Mormons have fled to Canada in that scenario, and the Mormon church would have become a Canadian church, eh? Would have been Canadian, eh? Instead of an American church, an American hypocritical church, full of hypocrisy, not standing for true liberty, not being freedom fighters, but subjecting. You can't have the two spirit. There's one spirit possessing you in subjecting yourself and being good loyal subjects, and there's the opposite spirit of you possessing you in overthrowing tyranny as freedom fighters. And Mormons are not freedom fighters. Sorry. You're good little sheeple, obeying your leaders. By the way, here's how Article of Faith number 12 should read. We believe in being subject to kings, rulers, Mormon church presidents, and other leaders, in obeying, honoring, sustaining kings, dictators, rulers, and Mormon church presidents in their law. Wow. That's true. That's infinitely more consistent with LDS thinking than anything else I've ever seen. Subject yourself to U.S. presidents? Why, Barack Obama would kick you in the head if you knelt down and genuflected and ingratiated yourself in front of him like that. He would raise you up and kick you in the head at the same time. I'm serious. He's not a king, boys and girls. You don't subject yourself to a president. That's an oxymoron. Adios. Adios. Be good. Be good. Be good. Whatever you do.